Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Maverick. It's been a while. This is the first stream since God of Legacy, so it has been a few weeks, and it's really nice to be back with a list that I've been playing in paper or very close to it, with a few small changes. I've broken this up between the utility lands, the main mana base, mana acceleration, combo hate, the Green Suns package, which is also the tutor package, and questing beast, but I'll get to that in a second, and then removal. The main changes here that you'll be seeing is no Palace Jailer from the last build that I had. I'm playing Solitude over Palace Jailer. I really like that Solitude. Palace Jailer is nice. It gives you ongoing value through the Monarch as well, and it is just really nice to have in some matchups, especially things like Control that don't often have a board of creatures. Solitude is early removal. It's also late game removal and a body. And I think right now that's what I want. I want sort of a fifth Swords to Plowshares that doesn't come at the cost of 4 mana. Also, there's a few decks in the format that can really punish you for playing Palace Jailer. Taking the Monarch and then not allowing you to grab it back is very reasonable these days. So Solitude here is really nice. We also have 4 Green Suns, 2 Fiend Artisans, 3 Knights, and a Ramanap and Questing Beast. 10 of these creatures and spells, Green Sun Zenith, are tutors. The Fiends, I've been feeling like I do want them in the list. It's really nice to have them. But as a 4 of, I was getting to the stage where I felt like I had too much fluff in the deck and not enough targets. So by having just 2 Fiend Artisans, which is still enough to find naturally, I can Green Suns for them, I am able to play more consistency in my playsets or play some extra silver bullets. So I'm playing the full 4 Esper Sentinels and the full 4 Thalias. Probably my favorite opening right now being turn 1 Esper Sentinel into turn 2 Thalia. Really powerful, really strong against a plethora of decks, and probably something I'm not going to move away from for a little bit. So hopefully testing goes pretty well. The only other thing that I'm thinking about is the Birds of Paradise. Obviously, Exalted is great. Exalted is really nice on a Mana Dork, especially against a card like Teferi, which typically bounces your threat and sometimes leaves you with a Mana Dork. So to be able to leave you with a Mana Dork that has Exalted means you can take care of the Teferi when you untap. Birds of Paradise cannot do that unless you have another Exalted creature. But Birds of Paradise, being a Mana Dork that produces white and black, which neither of the others do, is enough for me to keep it in the deck for now. It also does buy some time against flyers, say Murktide Region or potentially a Maritlage if needed. So happy to stick with the bird over either a 3rd Noble or a 2nd Ignoble. And to the board. The board is very combo heavy, and that's because I think in the main deck we have a pretty great game against other creature and fair decks. So we have 2 Surgicals and 2 Force of Vigors as kind of our free hate. Thoughtseize, Deafening Silence, and Chalice all as 2-ofs, because I'm wanting to test how they all go. All have different advantages, and I think all are very relevant in the current metagame. Chalice is really nice as well against 8-cast on 0, so it's a way for me to be able to hopefully even 2-spell as early as turn 1, which you don't often always get to have, which is really nice. I did play a little while without the 2-path to Exiles, but I really missed them, especially against Delver. So having the 2-path there is really nice just to make sure I have something against Delver when I'm looking to take out Collector Oof, Knight of Autumn, and Questing Beast. So here we have Endurance and 2 paths to bring in, which is really nice. And then we have Aethersworn Canonist, Endurance, and Opposition Agent as the, creatures left. Hey Bobs, hey Grid. I think Endurance is just a really strong card. Obviously, it's really nice to have there. The Opposition Agent is also great against some of the fair decks, any sort of tutoring decks, of course. And then Canonist, I just wanted a hate bear that was good against combo, as well as elves. I did have Containment Priest in that slot as well, because there is a lot of Reanimator online, so to have a creature like Containment Priest against Reanimator is great for two reasons. A, it obviously shuts off their combo, but B, it also hits Show and Tell, which is usually what they're moving into post-board against us. So that's a big reason why I was thinking about Containment Priest, but I went with Canonist just to see how it goes. Hey Bob Mans, thanks for the 4-month sub. A huge thank you. Yeah, Chalice is definitely interesting. Yeah, I feel like Chalice on 1 against a lot of decks can be huge. Deafening Silence is great at just making sure you're always in the game against most combo decks or decks like 8cast. But Chalice just has a little bit more play to it and allows you to actually 2-for-1, or sorry, 2-spell on turn 1 against a lot of the combo decks where you want to start off with Deafening Silence. Having the Chalice there as well is really nice because Chalice for 0 doesn't hit us at all, which is really nice. It's kind of the DeckTech. See how this goes. Hopefully you enjoy this. It's really nice to be back. We're playing a Legacy League with play points. Gotta remember how to do this. Gameplay. League match. Nice. God of Legacy was very cool. Played Maverick 5-4. Have a small tournament report coming out. Hopefully tonight or tomorrow. Which is cool. Played a plethora of a lot of decks as well, which is cool. This is a great hand. We have a mana online, we have a mana acceleration, we have removal, we have something for the unfair decks, we have something for the fair decks, and then Night of Autumn is just a nice little flexible piece, so pretty happy to keep this. Not too sure what our opponent is on, but Flooded Strand doesn't give away too much. I could go for basics here, but here I'm actually happy just to go for Savannah into Noble. This also turns on something like Wasteland and Sword next turn if we draw Sword, or if we draw Wasteland. Going for basics is nice sometimes, but it can really fold your ability to build out your board. Okay. Minor misstep. I'm going to put them on Delver. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, a very slow Delver start, which I think we are more than happy with here. Sentinel is actually really nice as well. It allows me to keep developing my board while also playing around days. And Esper Sentinel, traditionally very good against these style of decks. They're actually going to force this pitching Brazen Borrower. It's a pretty huge bonus for us. Also, if this is a blue-red deck that has a main deck TNN plan, having the Plague Engineer naturally is really, really strong. But the Sentinel there makes me think that they don't have something like a Bolt in hand, which is great news for Thalia. And them losing a bounce spell in Brazen Borrow is great from a tempo perspective. Not having to worry about that is really nice. Most decks playing potentially one of the main deck. Maybe 2 in the 75. Hey Panda, may the 4th be with you. Are they missing a land drop? Yes. Okay, but they're holding up 2 mana. So they're not pondering. And they're not... brainstorming. So here we have green in play, green. I don't mind getting Scrubland here, which allows us to have 2 black sources for Plague Engineer. In this matchup, Knight of Autumn probably just becoming a 4-3. Thankfully, we're not in a position where we have to just play it for 4 life. Very Mastermind, okay. Interesting. So this is a new card. I know Ozymandias, a big congratulations to him taking down the Legacy Showcase, I believe. Could have been a challenge, but I think it was a showcase where they played with 4 Fairy Mastermind in their main deck, which is very cool. Kind of a blue-white X-control list. It is a rogue. So Plague Engineer naming rogue would also hit Brazen Borrower, but I think here probably happy keeping the once for now, although once for Wasteland would be quite strong here, taking out the Volk. We're definitely attacking. But then we have a few options. We could Swords the Fairy Mastermind. We could play the Plague Engineer, in case they're holding up another one. I think here I'm happy to play the Plague Engineer. The Sword just having a little bit more resource against other creatures, and even Murktide is quite good, so if I can potentially deal with the Mastermind here, and then get sort of maybe a Force here, or even a removal spell on the Plague, I'd be very happy. TNN is also a rogue. Very nice, Sahar. Sahar! Too good. Very nice to see you. I very much enjoyed your Humans of Magic podcast. And of course, to have you on the channel during the Legacy weekend. Renamed, as of last week, to the Greens Suns Summit. I always spell rogue wrong as well. I always put the U first. Alright, that's a pretty huge win for us, which is nice. We're in a great position. Having the Thalia in play and our opponent missing land drops as early as turn 3, I think this really is our game to lose. But now that our opponent is pondering, and obviously Thalia is going to attack anything they try to do in our turn if they find a land. I think once next turn for Wasteland is going to be next to just too much to handle. Yeah, so here let's start with once. We don't find the Wasteland, but we do find another threat in Knight, which I don't mind. We definitely don't need lands at this moment, and Knight is technically Wasteland over a few turns, so I think Knight here is just the best card. I wonder what their creature base is. So far we've seen the Brazen Borrower, and we've seen the Fairy Mastermind. I would assume they're playing around 12 creatures. 4/4/4, maybe 14. Could be like 3 playsets of like DRC, Fairy Mastermind, Murktide, and then like maybe 2 Brazen Borrowers. Maybe no Delvers. Some decks play 2 Delver. Could even be 15 creatures. 4/4/4, 2 and 1. This feels like a Murktide, which isn't too bad. Sure. I do want to play around Days here. I don't want to just Swords here, because losing the Swords to a Days would really change this game. The question is, do I want to sack and draw here? I probably don't mind that. The only thing sack and draw doesn't allow me to do is play... If we don't sack and draw here, and we draw into a land, we can play the knight and the swords around Daze, which is quite nice. I think I'm pretty happy to try to get that. Okay, double swords is really nice as well, let's be honest. They do have the Wasteland here to play for force. Pay for force, potentially. But thankfully the second swords changes that quite well. Because although our opponent hasn't had the threats in play they need, these two canopy lands have been slowly making our life total trickle down, which is scary against a deck with Bolt. Which actually makes me not want to deploy this Knight of Autumn here. I'm happy just to pass with swords up around Daze. And then at this stage, I'm happy to draw a card end step. The Delver I don't really care about here. 2 mana Brainstorm. This does mean if they don't find a land, we can do whatever we want during our turn, thanks to Thalia turning off Force. Wow, okay. In that case, I don't have to play around Daze, which is nice. So I'm happy to fetch here. Just get a Savannah. I don't need the black source anymore. I do have one black source left over in case we naturally draw Grist. But all I'm looking for is Wasteland here on the Volk, and then play Knight. We have 2 draw steps for that. Thalia's been doing a lot of work as well. This was a turn 3 Thalia, now turn 7, so it's definitely slowed the ability for my opponent to build out their board. 2 mana Brainstorm, 2 mana Ponder. Exactly how I like to play Magic. And hey, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're having a great week. Have nice weekends ahead. Some time out, maybe some Magic. I'm hopefully playing Highlander tomorrow night. There's the Wasteland. Bada bing, bada boom. And yeah, it's a really tough spot for them there because they are Brainstorm locked as well. So straight up, it's a very easy decision against Delver. Collector Oof is a vanilla 2/2. Knight of Autumn doesn't do a whole lot. Sometimes a full life is relevant, but in that situation you're probably going to be dead anyway. Sometimes you see Grafdigger's Cage, but I don't think it's really worth keeping cards in for those two. We like the 2 parts, and we like the Endurance. I also don't mind taking out the Questing Beast. We have Plague Engineer, which actually in this matchup is very relevant with the Fairies. Or the Rogues, I should say. Chalice on the play, potentially, but we have a lot of 1-drops we care about, so probably not going to be boarding in Chalice against Delver anytime soon. I think if I was on like an Abrupt Decay or a Saturn's Trophy build, with maybe an extra Grist or Solitude, I wouldn't mind testing it out, but turning off your own Solitudes, sorry, your own Swords to Plowshares, and things like that are pretty tough. This hand is really solid. It has a pretty fantastic curve. The only thing it doesn't have is great mana. It's not like we can go for a basic here, but another fetch off the top would allow that. So pretty happy to keep this either way. Yeah, Esper Sentinel turning on the fairies is very interesting. Especially with free spells like Delver. Sorry, free spells with Daze or Force of Will potentially triggering the Esper Sentinel. And no turn 1 play, so this build does look slower so far from 2 games than the traditional take on Delver, which is really interesting. Bayou is nice here. I'm more than happy to lead on the Esper Sentinel here, because if they try to remove it with just Bolt, then obviously we draw a card off it, which is great. So I'm pretty happy to go Windswept Heath, Basic, sorry, not Basic, Savannah, into Esper Sentinel. Nice. That's pretty huge getting it into play, because now it does just make things awkward. Like if they want to go after a mana, that's more than fine. Gonna cast this pre-combat. Do they have the Bolt? Why'd they fetch? Just like an end step? No. Okay. The one nice thing in this position as well, if we get to untap with both creatures, is attack first with Exalted, and then second main do what we need to. Because in that stage, our opponent actually has to pay 2 for the Esper Sentinel, thanks to Exalted, for us to not draw a card. And thankfully for us, Forked Bolt has not made it back into Legacy. So, other than something like maybe End the Festivities, which even that I haven't seen too much of recently. A lot of players are moving towards the 3 mana sweeper that also allows you to destroy all artifacts. Brotherhood's End, I'm going to say it is. Or Rough. Okay. So this isn't too bad, because Rough is a 1-for-1 with the Noble, and the Esper Sentinel here replaces itself, which is nice. But what I do have to draw is a white source over the next 2 turns, or over this draw step and my next draw step, to be able to play the Thalia. And to be fair, if we don't draw a white source, it is going to be pretty rough. This is where things can get tricky, where you have all the mana, sorry, all the removal in the world, but you just don't have that white mana around. Okay. At least I can say that our opponent has no threats in play at the moment. And we do have a free play in Solitude, so can't be too unhappy. They chose to not shuffle. So Delver most likely flipping here. Okay. I can tap the Cradle for mana when I play the Solitude, if need be. They kept with the Ponder, but no flip, so it's either another threat or a Wasteland, most likely. Also not too keen at 19 life to fire off the Solitude on just this measly Delver, so I'm happy to see what they follow up with. Nothing. Okay. There we go. Oh, okay. Do we see the line here? To play around Daze. If we play the Thalia and our opponent tries to Daze it, we can Solitude the Delver, float with Gaia's Cradle, and then pay for the Daze. So we'll see if that line comes up. I mean, that's even a better card to hit with Solitude if we get the chance. Okay, here we go. Let's get rid of a path here. And now we get to hit the fairy, float green, and then get the Thalia back. Which is a huge... Yes, all good. I thought for a second I didn't pay for it, but here we are. Now that is a sweet, sweet line. Nice. Holy heat is more than fine. Here I'm actually probably more happy to play the Esper Sentinel than anything else. Also, turning on the Cradle is quite nice. Hey Lord Miller, huge thank you for the sub. Hope you're doing well. This also turns on Hold Up Endurance next turn, potentially. Also really nice to show something that Solitude does that Palace Jailer in that spot wouldn't have done. Okay, so we know that one card in hand is going to be Murktide, and then it's one card left, which means that they've played Misty, so they can't Wasteland us off the Karakas for white mana, which is great. Hey, Alfred. Is that the Alfred that I met? How many Alfreds are there in Magic? They don't trade either. Okay. Really waiting for that Delver to flip. Okay. The Wasteland here is great because it allows us to play the Endurance. No Mental Misstep is really nice. And then I think in Upkeep, after they flip, we'll see what they do. If they get a Mystic Sanctuary here, we actually have Endurance to stop that, which is really nice. Because it takes away the Ponder and it also stops the Endurance. Nice. That's another really nice timing play. Just lucky to get that, honestly. Right. Okay. I think here I'm happy to see what we find with the Peatland first. And then we have mana that we can cast pretty much anything we draw into. Okay. I don't really have a great attack here. I could attack with the Sentinel if I really wanted to. I don't mind that, because I'm definitely not blocking with it, and I think at this stage my opponent has enough mana to just pay for the Sentinel tax anyway, so... This is probably a stage, though, where I'm happy to throw this sword at the DRC. Just because the value of it. They're also pretty far away from Murktide, which is nice. They reveal Ponder. The best card for them is probably another Rough, where they attack with the Delve, we block with the Endurance, and then post-combat they play Rough to deal with both our creatures. It also means this Verdant is probably staying a Verdant for some time. I don't think getting a Dried Up here to make the Cradle any better is actually worth it. I'd much rather have that Verdant to know that I can get any color I want when I need it, and if I need it. They chose to shuffle, which is great for us. Bounce. Wow, just to get in for a damage. Okay. Guess it all adds up. I'm just going to play this now. Just to play around any sort of shenanigans. I think these two I'd rather just hold for now. Like, potentially, maybe I should have taken out a Volk, and then Endurance them. I don't mind that. Obviously, the Wasteland with the Esper Sentinel is nice, but... Okay. This is great for us. Even an Exalted Creature off the top wouldn't be too bad. Do I have an attack here? I don't mind this. And then just play the other Endurance. Because I do have to win this game at some point. I'm happy to also just play the other Endurance now, in case they draw into a force. Would feel pretty bad to try to like get them and then just have the Endurance counted. Okay, True Name is a real threat. And here they might even just get in with both to really get damage going. No, okay. So Fiend Artisan into Plague Engineer. Obviously Plague Engineer itself. Green Suns. There's a few good outs here. But unfortunately just the top of the deck hasn't been too kind for us. We still have time. It's a 4-turn clock. I could see a Bolt being in the near future, so this is really a 2-turn clock. Try to take them off red. We get one draw. Oh, okay, we get... Oh, no, they pay for it. Makes sense. Oh, I guess Once Upon a Time as well. They chose to shuffle. Do we find Once? Once would be sweet. We don't. So they don't have a red source. They need a red source and a bolt if they want to go that route. Alright, deck. Please. Oh, just too late. Because Green Suns... yeah, like... We don't have a way to gain life. We don't have a way to... Could we? Could we draw? Okay, I think we could actually go... Green Suns for 4 off the Cradle, get Ramanap, play a Nurturing Peatland for turn, use the Plains to draw a card, and then hopefully just draw into natural Plague Engineer. I think that's literally my only out. Because we would have taken out the Night of Autumn. We took out the Questing Beast as well. Yeah. No Skoos. Sadly, Skoos was left in 2022. Yeah. I guess they could also counter this, potentially. But then they can just pay for the Esper Sentinel tax anyway. Surely with 5 cards in hand. Yeah. Alright. Tough. Not gonna change anything. There is a little bit of me that wants to play the Questing Beast just because it does get through like a true name stall. But it's really hard to cut anything that I currently have in the list. I think I just rely on the Plague Engineer. Not a great hand. A lot of mana, a Fiend Artisan that's a 1/1, a Ramanap that's just far too slow, so pretty happy to mulligan that. Not great either. It is ignobled into Fiend with double Wasteland, which isn't too bad. And then we do have a big Knight potentially incoming. I could see keeping this and bottoming 1 Wasteland. That way we go probably just like fetch into ignobled. If they remove either Wasteland Us or Bolt, we still have a turn 2 Fiend Artisan. And then we have a Wasteland into Knight or just Wasteland Fiend. I don't think there's like a great 5. There is a world where I don't fetch first either. The fetch is relevant because it gets Knight to a 4/4 pretty quickly. In case we want to try to turn 2 a Knight. So if we go fetch and then play Hierarch, and then turn 2 we actually draw into another fetch, we can just slam Knight as a 4/4. But if we get the chance to untap, I'm probably Wastelanding and Fiend Artisaning. So I think here it's actually fine just to play Savannah and Ignoble. It also opens up a little bit more about what we want to fetch with the Verdant. I have had some opponents force a Mana Dork and then Wasteland me turn 1, which is very aggressive, but it has definitely got me before. Graph Cage. Well, that turns off the Fiend Artisan. I think here I'm happy to Wasteland the Wasteland just to take them back and then play the Fiend Artisan. And then if they get rid of the Fiend Artisan, we can play Verdant Fetch and play Knight. This doesn't stop Grist, which is worth noting, I believe. Because when it enters, it's a little bit like Containment Priest. I feel like that is correct. Grist and Graph Digger's Cage. No. Grist is a creature in the library. Graph Digger's Cage prevents creatures in libraries from entering the battlefield. Okay. Well, there you go. Wow, they're going to ponder first. That makes me think they kept like a Wasteland Polluted Delta hand and they want to find mana before they start doing anything. They chose to shuffle, which actually makes me want to play Wasteland here. Okay. Well, the Green Suns is turned off by the Graph Digger's Cage, unfortunately. I guess the tough part is that if we Wasteland them, and then they either Wasteland us back or bolt the Ignoble Hierarch, we're actually off the Knight. So I think here I'm actually happy to fetch and slam the Knight. Fetching because then it's a 4/4. I will just get another Savannah as well. Hey, Bubba. Hope you're well. Force. Okay. They float red as if they have a bolt, but then they're not doing it as if they only have one land and they want a cantrip potentially instead. Delver. Oh, Delver pass with... Yeah. So they don't have the land. Hit a Wasteland, okay. That's fine. Righto. Come on, real threat. I can't fetch for Dried Arbor, I just have to remember that. I actually hope that Elva flips, because it means they're not drawing into a land. Okay. It's a weird game. This is where Prismatic Ending as a card is quite nice, because it hits both Delver and Grafdigger's Cage, so you can keep it in against Delver and still have an out to a card like Grafdigger's Cage. There's nothing that I can do here. Yeah. It just happens. When's the last time I played Delver myself? Actually, last night at Legacy. I have it in paper. Okay. This is probably a card I actually care about with swords. We're also getting to the stage where 3 mana plus 1 is just to play around days. Well, that's a great answer for Murktide, especially when my opponent's at 6. No flip. Wasteland. They're holding back the Delver? They're not going to block a 1-2. Come on now. That doesn't work. Oh, that's a great draw. That makes me just want to pass here. Does this flip? It does, and they hit a bolt. That's okay. I actually don't even want to block this, because I want to win with the Endurance. If I block the Delver, and then I lose the Endurance, I'm back to just not really winning. So I'm actually happy just to take them off the ability to play a land and Murktide this turn. So let's go with Bayou and... probably just Scrubland here. And then tap like this. And then I can take the 3 here. I don't want to play the path into days either. Now we're cooking. Ugh. More Exalted. This also turns off fetch lands, which is huge. Petty Theft. Okay. In that case, I don't want to play this into days again, so I'm happy just to hold up the path. I want to see if they attack or not. Because if they don't attack, they don't have days. I think they should attack no matter what, because then at least the bolt trades with the Endurance. So yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Oh, double Wasteland's actually quite good. Can they take me off the ability to cast the Endurance? Oh, that's actually really rough. Don't mind the pun. Yikes. There we go. I'm just casting it now. We know one card is Bolt. Oh, nice. Yes. One card still Bolt. Okay. Ooh. Get in, son. So they cast the Brazen Borrower. That's 3. I go to 8. They have Bolt. I go to 5. It's pretty hard to deal 5 there. The Brazen Borrower can't block either. Interesting. Do they must have TNN? Fetch to 1. Get back the Bolt on top, that's fine. 1 card left. Don't do it. 4 mana. Murktide. Yikes. Was I supposed to keep the Noble in hand for this? Ugh. They can't really attack though, so we got that going for us. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I go to 8 and then a Bolt, so I have to block this anyway, so I might as well block it right now. Like, the chances of me drawing into an Exalted Creature is very low. Honestly, I'm just casting this. Attack but no Bolt is very interesting. Chose to not shuffle. Ugh. Oh. I don't even have an Exalted Creature left. Tough. Yeah, Cage turned out to be quite strong. Tough. Well, good one to get. At least we have that cool play with the Solitude. That was really cool. Yeah. Really tough. Graph Cage, obviously really good. But I don't think it's worth keeping in the Knight of Autumn for, but I think like maybe Rug I would keep the Knight of Autumn in for because they usually bring in Sylvan Library, but otherwise pretty tough. I do have one grist. I've never wanted a second because you have so many ways to find the one, and usually one is enough. But yeah, maybe it like came down to like not needing to play the noble the turn I did, and holding it because it doesn't change damage. It would allow me then to attack into the 4/4 Murktide, but yeah, it's tough. Because then they could still just bolt me, play a 4/4 Murktide, or they could bolt the noble, like wait a turn. Yeah, tough one. But hey, thanks to you guys for coming in and watching. I wonder what my white lands were left. Because I think they got rid of multiple jewels. Cosmic Rebirth. I have not seen that card. I have no idea what it does, sorry. And it doesn't seem to be on MTGO bot. Rough was really good as well in those games. I think Savine's Reclamation probably just takes the spot of Cosmic Rebirth because it's easier to cast and it also has the flashback ability. Even though it's sorcery, I think being able to flashback and get potentially a 2-for-1 is really good. The song reminds you of Wii music. I used to play MapleStory as a kid and there's a few levels that had this sort of music in the background, which it always reminds me of. Very soothing. Very, like, up in the air. Like, in the clouds. But it's a cool card. I reckon I'll play it in Highlander. Tough. Wasn't the worst 6 either. 3 lands, 3 creatures. Obviously, removal in the opener is pretty paramount against Delver, but yeah. Maybe even going for the Wasteland earlier. There's always things you can talk about in hindsight. I think if anything, just be happy that there wasn't any sort of major errors in gameplay. And take the L. But hopefully play against a nice range of decks tonight. Look, we have all the mana, which is great. We have Thalia and Plague Engineer, non-FedEx or non-FedEx, FedEx. Wasteland's a spell, but pretty happy to mulligan this on the draw. We have Esper Sentinels, Noble Hierarchs, Mana Accelerants, or Once Upon a Time to draw into. So, and this is probably better Probably happy just to draw bottom a Wasteland here. And we kind of have all our colors on point. Spire. Okay. Maybe 8 cast? Hey, why am I? Emery. Okay. Luckily, here we do have the Swords to Plowshares for Emery. Which I'm happy to do here because they have the bauble and they have like LED. So I think here we're happy just to play the Plains and Swords. I could also go with Savannah into Swords. That would allow us to, if we really want to, Ignobled Hierarch and Wasteland next turn. I think I like just making sure I have all lines possible next turn. And the Plains obviously turns that one off, so... Savannah. Swords Emery. Painter! Okay. Didn't see this coming. At least here we get to play Sentinel and Wasteland them, which is pretty huge. The Might can deal with it, but I think that's fine. I could also save the Wasteland for a Saga, but I think at this stage they're not making any sort of creatures from Sagas. And the Sentinel taxing and hopefully drawing us cards is really where I want to be, so... Less mana for them is beneficial for us in many instances. Looks like they're going to trade. Which is fine, we have a backup and Ignobled, which is nice. Okay. Getting aggressive. So here we get to go Ignobled Hierarch. Attack with 1. And then play the second. Nice. Now, right now there's no great attacks for us because of the Painter being a 1/3. But that's a pretty good draw. So, let's start off with Thalia. They're going to force that, which is great for us. We'll see how they pay. They pay for 1. And then we draw with the other. Green Suns as well. So Green Suns for Oof next turn is going to be fantastic. And now we get to Swords Painter. Unless they have Blast as their last, they don't. I could have also been a little bit patient with that Swords, but I think just getting in here is more than fine. And the next turn, the Green Suns for Oof should just be lights out, thankfully. Which is exactly where you want to be with Oof. I mean, Green Suns has bullets like Oof exactly for this. They have 1 card left. Look, in case it's Spell Pierce, we'll play the land. Nice. And now we get to play a pretty sweet, yeah. It's exactly where you want to be. So in this style of deck, we're We're definitely liking the Force of Vigors. The Chalice is great. The extra parts, I don't mind either. I don't want to go too deep other than that. I think we have enough ways to deal with Emery that we don't have to worry about the graveyard as much. So Endurance is nice, but isn't like a have to. The Thalias and Sentinels is where I can see things dropping, but I'm never too sure. The Plague is a just in case is nice. The Canonist obviously does nothing in this matchup. Deafening Silence, I think, on the play is a little bit better. But it is still like an Echo deck, so I could see like just like free and turn 1 hate over turn 2 hate. And Esper Sentinel. Because Swords is great, Mana Acceleration is fine. I could see like moving down on one piece of Acceleration. Leaves like 2 slots. Like maybe Sentinel is fine. Ramanap is okay. I assume they're playing Saga. Knights are fine. Grist is okay. Beast sometimes isn't worth it, but just to have like a nice clock against this deck is strong. I'm not sure if they're on Psy, so I could potentially see Plague Engineer coming out, but again, as maybe just like a just in case. I could see just like 2 Sentinels. Thought is also interesting, but I think I'm happy to see how this goes. A turn one of 2 plays would be fantastic. And this is probably okay. It doesn't have green. It doesn't have white mana, but it has double force, and we can also green suns for noble if needed. So pretty happy to keep this. I mean, we have 2 free spells, which can hopefully 2 for 2, and we're also on the draw. So. All right. So here we will... Let's have a quick look. Yeah, we will Solitude. Wow, they're going to force it. Okay. In that case... Still feel like we're in a pretty strong position. I believe this is sorcery speed. Timing rules still apply. They get a Mox. Tomb. Hey Ramar, welcome. Hope you're well. They're getting back Bauble. That does turn on the Moxen. I could go after their mana hard here. But I don't feel like that is correct because we don't have a great way to go after their mana in an ongoing fashion. That I'm happy just to hold this for actual ways that they can win. Because right now, if we go after their mana, they're just going to draw out of it because you have no threats, no pressure. Look, I do get comboed against a lot, so it could actually be Ramar. You could be onto something there. This is actually quite nice because it leads to swords on the Emery and potentially green suns for Oof. Okay. Cap is going to be tough, but not unbeatable, especially with mana in play. A land here would be fantastic. Okay. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. So luckily the Force of Vigor for free and 4 mana deals with this and something else. So I think right now I'm happy just to go for Green Suns for Collect Oof to turn off a lot of what's in play, and then probably Swords the Emery. Oh, Force? Okay. Well, thankfully, that leaves them with just the Kappa, and it leaves us with 4 mana and the Forces. Okay. Don't you do it. Okay. Thoughtcast is still pretty good there. Okay, that's pretty good as well. Now it's really tough because we want to... I guess we can just, like, hardcast Force and hit Painter and Thaga here, and then take another hit and untap. I think that's probably just the play. Really use our life total as a resource. Oh, I did lose. Oh, okay. Well, now I totally forgot that we have to have a green card for this as well. So I actually have to draw into one naturally and then pay 4, unless they allow us to block once. That's a huge yikes. Hmm. Oh, we good. We good. We good. Did I? Oh, I had to fall. I had to fetch first, didn't I? Yep. Yeah. That is a way to learn. Yikes. Fetch first, kids. Come on, man. That's a... that is a moment to share. That is actually pretty hilarious. We even drew into the green card. We even drew into it. That's true, Brophy. That's a great point. Look at us. Look at us. Not too much to change. Probably the Plague, to be fair. I don't mind the Esper Sentinels on the play. But what don't I like? Sometimes the Ramanap's just a little bit overkill. Blue Saddle, thank you very much. You're more than welcome. Honestly, there's no reason not to fetch there first. Like, you just have to do it anyway, so... What do we want to do? It's just going to be Beast for me. Chalice for 0 into Noble into Knight or Knight. Fantastic hand. Gonna fetch for Savannah. Could play the Bayou, but I'm happy to get the Savannah out of the deck. But yeah, apologies team, that's on me. That was a really a basic error. But hey, we get extra magic, so how can I be unhappy? I get an extra game against you know, a fantastic deck. So here we go. No great target yet online, so pretty happy just to play the Knight out here. Which honestly, this hand is just working out to be fantastic. I think like land off the top would be great. We have access to Cradle for the Solitude next turn. Yeah, like if you want to turn 2 8 cast without Collect Oof, that's the way to do it. So back on the board. Nice. Nice. There we go. Redemption. Redemption. And hey, a huge thank you to Card Hoarder, who sponsor the channel and give me access to cards that I can borrow for any stream. So a huge thank you to Card Hoarder. If you want to borrow cards on MTGO, definitely use Card Hoarder. You can also use my code in my description below on Twitch. And to MTG Mate, who is my first and proudest sponsor. MTG Mate is an Australian online card seller based in Brisbane. You can find them at mtgmate.com.au. You can also use code Dukes for 5% off your singles. So if you're in Australia, if you're going to play in Eternal Weekend coming up in Melbourne, I believe June 9th to 12th, hit up MTG Mate. They're a good bunch of blokes. Good bunch of blokes. Come on. Fetching. Fetching is for... yeah. That was not cool. But really interesting to see that version of Painter. Kind of like an Echo slash 8-cast deck. And Chalice there, obviously, just really, really nice. Not a big fan of this, just because it doesn't have the mana to cast what we want to be able to play. It is on the draw, but I'm not a fan of keeping hands where it's like this. Look at that. Too kind. Too kind. Let's bring that back. So pretty happy to mull. Pretty happy to go to a hand where we can cast everything. And we got that. So pretty happy to keep this and probably just bottom the birds and keep Double Wasteland. That is a way to kind of maybe cheese out a win. If opponent's a fan of the channel, potentially they're on a fair deck though. So we'll see how this goes. What are we looking at? We're looking at, oh, okay, a Saga start is a great start for us. Ooh, Mox Diamond. Potentially lands? Okay. Oh, okay, Reclaim it. Okay. Nice start. We do get to take out the Saga here, which is nice. Go from there. Hey, Mining Man, too kind. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. Oh, another Mox. That's really interesting. It does grow the Reclaimer, but it also means they don't have a land. Oh, they have the Loam. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a yikes. Okay, so if we Swords the Reclaimer, they still have access to the Saga. Although we could try to get this knight online. The knight, however, is most likely going to be target of Needle. However, if they get Needle and we haven't played the knight, then potentially that is named Wasteland, which is obviously still pretty good, but not backbreaking. Loam. I think I'm happy to build out mana here. It's tough though. But like, you know, even like Green Suns for Oof here wouldn't be too bad. Turning off double mocks and potentially Shadow Spears is awesome. They don't loam either. Huh. Which does turn on endurance as well. To the person who brought up Scavenging Ooze before, this is definitely a match where I think Scavenging Ooze has a lot of value with ongoing disruption to graveyards. Endurance dealing with something once isn't that great, but Scoos, especially with Life Loam, is really relevant because you're able to take out the lands they target and also the loam. With Endurance, you technically have to choose, do you want to keep them off the lands already they're targeting, or do you want to keep them off the loam and give them the lands? No attacks. Okay. I think in this case it's... I can't allow them to have double constructs and also find Wasteland. I need to just buy time, I think, here. But I don't actually have access, to white mana, so I can't Sword the Reclaimer in the same turn. Ignobled. Happy just to sack here. Yeah, it's really tough. They hit a tab. I don't think they played the tab though. I guess they could. They could tab, equip, and then just rely on what they have on board. But I think we're just too far behind. I think we're too far behind from turn one. With the for them to have the double mocks and the loam, that was really rough. Just a little bit too unfair for a start like this. That is quite fair. Okay. I mean, that's a start. See what they do. Get rid of the Taiga. I don't think I need to get rid of the Reclaimer here. I can hold the swords because they have 2 off the tomb for the Saga. But then thankfully don't have a big follow-up. The Knight will be a 2, 4... I guess Reclaimer getting bogged down the line is actually relevant. And I guess Saga here getting Needle is also pretty tough for us. naming Knight, which means we can't really grow it naturally. Maze. I'll take this. It's a chance. There's a chance, and I'll take that. End step untap. And I think for mana considerations, I just have to use the swords here on the Reclaimer. I don't believe this deck plays step, and at least if it does, it's taking them off being able to build another construct. Oh, they do play step. Okay. I don't think Saga's unhealthy. I think it's a sub game that a lot of decks can beat, which is good. Green Suns, okay. Doesn't do well. Oh, I guess we can Green Suns for Night of Autumn here. Take out the Saga. Okay. That's a plan. I could also Endurance, but I don't think we have the time to Endurance, unfortunately. Matt, I've definitely had your thought before though. Like this game is very tough because of Saga, but it's also in a deck that I think yeah. I think it's fine for now. All right. Go to 7. Okay. Do we have any attacks? I don't think we do here because the Reclaimer. I wonder if they just get a Saga here. The Reclaimer can also get Bog, so I have to be wary of that. But I think for now, the Night of Autumn is just going in front of this construct. Paint is very good, that's true. I mean, Solitude here would be gas. It's a few things. Also have to be wary of Step giving protection to one color and just getting through. Getting rid of Knight is nice because it means I keep the fetch land in play, and also if they play Tabernacle, then there's one less creature to actually pay for. Nothing great. I could try to draw cards here with Nurturing Peatland, but I'm going to just pause on that for now. But they do get access to... It's tough because they get to activate the Saga here, then have 2 mana left over for the Reclaimer. Okay. Yeah, interesting they didn't use the tomb there to hold up the other Saga. Play the maze. Okay. Could just block one here, but I think actually blocking both is needed. Because then it turns off all my fetch lands. Hey, thanks for I actually forgot. Tough. At least you have some good cards. Force and Endurance and Surgicals. What I don't like is the Plague, the Thalias, for sure. I don't mind Agent. I think the Sentinels are a little bit weak. So I could move down on the Sentinels. I could even go for like a... I don't think Thoughtseize is where I want to be. The extra paths are tempting, especially because we are trying to win this through combat damage most likely, but I don't want to have a hand of too many swords in removal, especially when we have Solitude. You know, we have Force of Vigors for the Sagas as well. Maybe on the play, I don't mind just having 3 Sentinels. Even just for having early Fiend Artisan targets as well. But I think the Forces, the extra Endurance, and the Surgicals are quite nice. Thoughtseize is fine, but it's just so bad as a top deck after your opening hand that I don't really like it. I feel like you can pool channel points, but I'm not too sure how. But yeah, the plan here is really to stop an engine, and the engine in this version looks to be Life in the Loam. So having the extra endurance, having the surgicals is great. Force of Vigor, if they're playing Exploration, is fantastic. Sylvan Library, obviously Saga is a big play as well. Got fat stacks, nice, nice. Yeah, I think typically Maverick has a really solid lands matchup. It's just those really fast starts where they get under you that are quite hard to play catch up with. I do have a match I have to play with Jack, who's a player from Australia, on Delver, so see how that plays out. I don't mind this hand, because we get to go turn 1 Dried Arbor, turn 2 hold up Knight of Autumn. Opponent's gone to 6 cards. Happy just to go probably fetch Savannah into Green Suns, just to hold the Bayou for a turn. Also, if they have a really fast start of like Mox and Saga, we can just force it pitching Knight, but probably rather not. Wasteland. Okay. Sure. Is there a Mox? Okay. Honestly, I think here we force these two pitching Knight, untap, play Grist, trade the Dried Arbor away for the Reclaimer, and go from there. The other line is to just untap and play Plains, play Knight, take out Mox, leave them with the Saga, or even leave them with the Mox. We have time. What do you think, chat? I want to see some ideas. You like forcing in case of Loam? The first play? Yeah. Okay. I don't mind this either. The Grist also works really well with the Fiend Artisan. Don't you do it. 1 card left. Oh my gosh. Okay. Righto. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay. We'll take that. No real changes. The only thing I'm thinking about is Esper Sentinel, but there isn't really a better card. Like, I don't think the parts are worth it, honestly. The Chalices turning off Mox aren't worth it. I think it's a case of just what card might have some benefit, and I think it's Esper Sentinel. But it's tough because I think Tabernacle is also just a nice way to control the board from a land perspective, and having a lot of cheap creatures that I don't really care about can be a little bit annoying. I could see the 2 parts over 2 swords. They usually only run 1 forest. And if I am trying to beat down on my opponent, them not gaining 6 or 7 from a construct is quite nice. Even maybe an extra sword over 1 sentinel, and just having 2 sentinels in the deck is fine. Yeah. What do we have? Hand isn't too bad. The mana could go a little bit skew with if they're up again, if they're on like a wasteland hand, but it has removal, it has graveyard hate, it has search hate, so pretty happy to keep this. Also, questing beast against Mazavith is very strong. One big question is, do we have the luxury of going for a duel with the Windswept? Or do we go for a basic forest? I think we have the luxury of going for a duel. Really depends on our draw. Another land I'd actually be very happy to draw into. Now Force of Vigor is a very good draw as well. We did see Grove, so I assume they're also on Punishing Fire. Map. Okay. Not the fastest hand in the world. Oh, okay. Okay. So now I'm happy to go for Savannah into Ignoble Hierarch. And then upkeep, we want to hit the Mox and the Saga. A little bit tough if they have a crop, but if they have a crop, they have a crop. Just getting rid of the questing beast here. I guess they could also use map. Thankfully, they can't Tabernacle and Wasteland. Let's go for a fetch land. Interesting. And then probably use the map in the same turn. Okay. I really hope they just get another Saga. Oh, they get a Wasteland. Okay. Sure. At least we get Opposition Agent down next turn. If we draw a green source here, we also hold up. Okay, we don't, but that's fine. Could also just agent now to play around like another crop. I don't mind that, but I also kind of want to see what they do on their turn. This also makes the other Wasteland a lot better, because if the opposition is in play, then I don't have to worry about crop rotation in response to Wasteland. Hey Marcon, you should be able to see it over here for Cardboard Live. Do have a crop, but here it is. Yeah, maybe holding up op was just a little bit too... Like, I didn't need to get them. Like, sorcery speed opposition agent taking away the ability to crop rotation here is just better. Yeah, that's fine. Hey Mark, a huge thank you for the sub. Hope you're doing well. Honestly happy just to play the Bayou and get in. Hold the Wasteland for like a maze potentially. Let's tap like this. I could also go after the Yav. What do they get back? Thespian Stage, Wasteland, Urza's Saga. Tough. Tough. There is a world where I just want to take them off the Yav. And then we do have Path in case they get there with... let's have a quick look. Stage Wasteland. Yeah, I think that's fine. And honestly, I don't even need the Ignobled Hierarch if they have another Wasteland. But again, like, maybe there isn't a need for the Wasteland. Taking them off green is nice, but what I'm actually scared of is Maze of Ith. So I think I should have held the Wasteland there for Maze of Ith. Because that's what stalls this board. Also finding a white source. Okay. Yeah, because Wasteland doesn't do it here. There's a few things it doesn't do it here. Yeah, really hard for them to get out of this because we do have the Path, which deals with the Saga, which means they don't gain life, and so the agent gets through. Even if it was a sword, we would still have lethal, which is really nice. And they do have Wasteland, but they do have to use it here to actually make a construct. So here we get to go black, black. Keep both of these. Another land for good measure and an actual plains. Attack. They make a guy. But we get to path it before. We actually get to search as well, which works with this. Really well. So pretty happy to get out of that little one. But lands, sweet deck. Always cool to play against it. Yeah, big fan overall. Big fan overall. If you're a lands fan, get onto Albert Lindblom on YouTube. You can follow him on Twitter. He has some really good resources for lands. He's always 5-0ing with the deck as well. Let me quickly bring him up because Albert's been on the channel a few times, which is a pleasure to have. But yeah, some really cool. He's a 4-1 that he played with a Rug Depths deck, which is really cool. Playing Uro and Slowgurk, which I know a few Maverick fans are a fan of. He's another 5-0 with a very similar version with Otawara, and more of a sort of Saga build. This might actually be Sushi. It's not Sushi Loam, but this is a cool version with the new Battle and Vampire Hexmage. Just cool to see. So really cool to see Albert trying out some new stuff and doing well with it as well. I'm just going to refill my bottle. Be back in a second. Alright, we're back, and it must have actually automatically said yes for me to join this, which is awesome. Great hand, happy to keep this. Probably gonna lead, just because of how it is currently set out, I'm happy to lead on the bird, because it's the creature that I care about the least to get bolted. Because if we play the Sentinel and for some reason get Wastelanded, then we're really stuck. So I actually like just building out mana here off of Savannah. And this allows for a turn 2 Sentinel and Thalia, or Wasteland and Thalia, or Noble Esper Sentinel and Wasteland, or Knight. Jittery, welcome. Hope you're well. Hope you're doing well. Have to play Squash soon again. Playing it this weekend with Max, so that should be pretty cool. Taiga. Oh, Ignoble Hierarch. Didn't expect that. Didn't expect that. A Wasteland here is fantastic. Let's go with Esper Sentinel. Wasteland you. Play Noble. Taiga and Ignoble Hierarch makes me think this could be like a Mav shell. Badlands. Or just like Jund. Oh, or Goblins. Okay, maybe Food Chain Goblins. Here we actually just get to go Knight anyway. Wasteland into Knight, which is pretty bloody good. Put this over here. And then I'm happy to attack for 2 here. But I feel like this deck is pretty conspicuous. That's it, that's the play. Oh no, is that just it? Is that just the game? No, because you have to draw this to get things going, right? I think. Okay. I feel like a Swords of Plowshares is what I need, or potentially, obviously, Plague Engineer, but we just really need to find removal pretty quickly. Okay, let's see what we can do here. We can play another Knight, or play Thalia and Ignobled. I think another Knight here is better than anything else. And then just going for Wasteland on the Cavern. Yeah. And then there's no great attacks here because of the Mogwai Marshal and the token, so... Definitely an odd one. Hey, Sublime. Thanks for checking me out, but I'm gonna have to ban you for that. Sorry. See ya. Muxus. Lackey. Okay. Okay, no land. That's great for us. Oh. Sadly, we can't cast this, but we can cast Thalia. So I think here we want to attack with both Knights and then just play Thalia. Just get that beatdown going. This is a weird game, but happy to play it. Oh, we also know what they're drawing, so they're obviously not drawing into land, which is great for us, but I feel like Ancient Tomb is the card they need, because Ancient Tomb and Ignobled Hierarch get them the mana they need to snoop, right? Oh! We don't have the mana for it! We don't have the mana for it. Now that is tough. If only last time we played the Ignobled Hierarch. Is there a way? There isn't. We don't have a land. Well, we get him with everything. Does this turn off the tomb? That turns off the tomb! No. Did we just steal that? I feel like we just stole that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So, surely what happens there is they put the lackey in front of a knight, untap, play the Ancient Tomb, and then they play the card that we saw, which allows them to search for any card, put it on top, which Conspicuous Snoop becomes a copy of, and they go and get Kiki Jiki, I believe, and then copy the hell out of, yeah, the board. Okay, that was a very interesting game. Thalia's out. Paths in. I don't mind Thoughtseize on the... No, maybe not. I definitely like the Paths and the Opposition Agent. I don't mind A-Force. I think that's all I'm going to change. Yeah. This could be Food Chain Goblins. That'd be quite interesting. Look, in the blind, I probably wouldn't even keep this. I think it's just a lot. It's just really slow. This is better. We have Tome on Acceleration. We have Removal. We have Once to find something as well. Pretty happy to keep this. And I'm probably bottoming the Knight just because I can search for it down the line. It's between these two, but having the Agent naturally is quite nice, so... No Tome on Lackey. It's pretty huge. Alright, let's start with Once. I actually wouldn't just mind another land here, and that's probably what I'm going to take, honestly. And it's probably going to be the Canopy, just because it's a second green source as well. I really need it. Let's just go Bayou into Green Suns. Ooh. Yeah, I want the Bayou for the Opposition Agent, but if I get Dried Arbor here, it doesn't mean it means I don't have access to white until I get the Canopy down, but I think that's okay. It does mean, however, next turn I don't have access to Wasteland and Swords and attack, but I think the Agent is worth that. Ooh, Munitions? Yeah, that's a good one. Nice. Birds is fantastic because it allows me to Birds and also Wasteland here. And the next turn we're probably just holding up Agent or Double Swords. Okay. Snow-covered forest. That makes me think they are on Food Chain. Which is nice, because we have double swords for 2 creatures, and then we have Night of Autumn for Food Chain if needed, and now we just get to hold up Opposition Agent. Yeah, at least being able to counter it is quite nice, I guess. Okay. Oh, they have a Fury? Yikes. It's pretty good. We do have a sword, though, for the conspicuous, which is nice. Guys, you love giving away free stuff. Let's just put a little pause on that. I wonder if Blood Moon is a card I have to worry about as well. I probably just want to swords this right now, to be honest. So they have one card left. Sure. A land into holding up endurance is pretty nice for us. Okay. I get it. I get it. At least if we draw Plague, we can evoke Endurance and tap the Cradle for mana. Honestly, here, I think we actually just have to evoke Endurance off the Knight and then play the other Endurance. Sling Gang. Ugh. That is probably just going to be lethal, right? Yeah. Tough. Honestly, I don't mind Thoughtseize on the play, but I also like the Esper Sentinels, so I actually probably just don't want to cut anything or trade anything. No, just a little bit too top heavy. No green mana, which is really risky, but going down is also pretty risky. I probably want to mulligan to 5 to a hand that actually allows me to cast things I have in hand. Yeah, there's a better 5. Well, there's not a better 5. Oof. Alright. 1, 2, 3. This 4 isn't too bad. Okay. Interesting spot. So, being on a 4, I don't mind taking the chance that swordsing the Hierarch and then wastelanding the land puts them far behind. That allows us to play... like buys us time, but I also don't want to spend a swords on a non-threat in a deck that also has a combo alongside Goblin Lackey. And the Wasteland as mana for us is pretty huge as well. But I feel like because we have a small mana denial plan, I'm happy just to go with that and see how it plays out. For science. Yeah. I like it as well. I think if I didn't have the Wasteland, I wouldn't go this route, but... Drawing like a mana dork here would be pretty sweet. It's not a mana dork, but... Okay. Okay. Now if we can swords in their end step and then untap and play the Grist, happy days. Oh, and if they try to Munitions Expert here, we can respond to the trigger by removing the Munitions Expert, dealing 0 damage. Okay, they play a Snoop. Oh, they have a Fury. Wow, they're going to Fury the Dried Arbor? Okay. Just going to Swords this anyway, and then... Tough. Alright. Okay. We do get to Green Suns here. And see if they want to trade the Crater Maker away. Take this. Do they trade? I feel like they do if they Furied the Dried Arbor, just to keep us off 3 mana, surely. Yeah. Hiya! Oh! So close. Come on, deck. You got this. They hit 3 mana. I wonder if they matron for a ringleader. War Chief. Okay. Ah, yikes. Look, land into endurance is pretty good. Yeah. When they all have haste. Tough. Tough. 2/2. Had a good mix of decks tonight. Blue red, mono blue painter, lands, goblins. You know what? Let's try it. It has the Solitude and it also has just a turn 1 Sentinel. Swamp Bobble. Okay. That's pretty good. Go with a fetch and then play Sentinel. Saga. Zeranob. Okay. What is this? See if they're like ritual into opposition agent. No. Okay. I don't think it's Turbo Depths because they're playing Saga and like Baubles. I honestly want to just go for Dryad Arbor here to make sure I have 3 mana next turn and then keep the Esper Sentinel for Solitude in case I need it. The Saga also keeping them from wanting to use the Wasteland is quite good for us. Especially if we draw Wasteland here. We don't, but that's fine. It's going to be Night Pass. Could be some style of Poxec. Wonder if they have Needle for Saga. Petal. Huh. Potentially just to grow the constructs. Happy just to take this. And then probably see where double Knight can take us. Holding up Knight. We're also very close to Cradle into Solitude, speaking of. They pitch an Ephemerate? Do they have another Ephemerate? At least if they do, we have Solitude backup. No, okay. swords. I think I'm happy to take the damage and just play another knight here. Knight also makes our mana progress, which is fantastic. Having the Solitude, I feel really good about them having a Solitude with Ephemerate style build. Double Wasteland. Happy to take the 8. Wasteland's a little bit awkward for them here, because they don't want to make this knight a 5/5, which double Wasteland would do. One thing I can't do next turn is play Sentinel and hold up Solitude, unless I draw another white source. But Cradle currently gives me access to 4 mana, 5 mana, 6 mana, 7 mana to play with. I guess if we play a Sentinel first, we have 5 mana, 6 mana, 7 mana to play with. Sentinel first, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, still 7. They're gonna wasteland me. Take me off white. White black. What's this, like Zealous Persecution? What is this? What you got? Charming Prince entered the exile zone. What is this? Oh, March? Okay. Down to 2 cards. At least now we draw a bunch of cards. Probably just want to swords one of these tokens. I could also go with definitely getting. I think I will just get a. I think I'll get a Savannah and be a little bit greedy. I don't mind playing the other Sentinel and then just holding up the Solitude if I really need it. But they're at 19. Yeah, I think swords might be better as well. Yeah. And then we're definitely not blocking, so happy to attack with everything. This is fine. Ooh. I'm probably going to keep this for now, but it is interesting. That actually allows me to hold up endurance here, which I don't mind. I can kind of play instant speed, which is pretty sweet. I could have attacked, yeah. could have attacked. Come on, Rick. Why do you have to shout that out? Come on. I'm probably happy just targeting no one here. Nice. No. I definitely missed the attack there. Here I'm happy to hit the scrub. That's fine. And now we get to go Sentinel into Thalia, just to really tax them. Actually, yeah. Eat it. This is a very taxing board. Okay. So what are we playing against? We're playing against a ephemerate style creature deck. So I like taking out the Thalias. It's an easy one. We saw a lot of artifacts and enchantments, so the forces seem great. The paths seem great. I don't mind the agent. But what for? Potentially the sentinels on the draw. Like maybe I don't mind the Thoughtseizers. Canonist does stop the shenanigans of ephemerate a little bit. Chalice on 0. Chalice on 0. I feel like their only 0 drops are saga targets. Feast seems fine. I like these. I think it is just one sentinel. And then probably just try to see a bit more of the deck. And then go from there. I don't mind this. We have Acceleration or Esper Sentinel. You know what's really cool? Bauble with Cabal Therapy. That would kind of suck. Planes. Planes pass. Okay. The Bayou makes me very happy. It means we can fetch up a Savannah. And then play the Esper Sentinel. And then still have a green source left over after potentially a Wasteland for the Green Suns. Nice. Oh, no land? Alright. I don't want to show the Wasteland just yet, so let's Green Suns for probably just a Noble Hierarch at this point, and attack with the Sentinel for 2. I guess potentially just in case of something like a Plague Engineer, I'll get a Ignobled Hierarch, because they don't share any types. They must have kept a one-lander with multiple baubles to try to draw into a land and just haven't got there. That's really rough. Oh, Grist probably just closes this out. Sorry, team. Didn't. Let's play the Wasteland, and let's go black. I think opponent has just fallen behind too far at this point. The Wasteland can hit a Saga before it taps for mana, which is kind of cool. But yeah, tough. Well, we do get a chest, which is kind of cool. I think we only have the one chest. Oh, we have a lot of chests. Okay. We'll open these for you guys. Let's go to DeckTech. Nothing too cool. Kami. Alright. Honestly, the deck felt nice. This was kind of the first run-through of this build. And a 3-2, considering the losses aren't too bad. Obviously, there's that one against Blue-Red Delver and the one against Goblins, but that's just going to be variance sometimes. And I'm more than happy with that. The deck felt clean, which is really nice. The Sentinel Thalia attacks was quite relevant. Like, sometimes Prismatic Ending is a card that I do think I want, and potentially could be in the slot of one of these Path to Exiles. Because it is just a nice to have against something like a Grafdigger's Cage out of Delver, as we saw. But I think I'm honestly not going to make any changes and just keep this list going through some leagues to really get some data behind it. But yeah, 3-2 is obviously not the greatest finish, but I'm very happy with our matches. I thought they were pretty good. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. It's just past 11 for me, so I'm going to go to bed. But a huge thank you to you guys coming in and watching. I really appreciate the support. I am going to quickly see who else is streaming and send you guys over there. Maybe Ramar? If Ramar is on? No. Maybe Tagores. Nice. But hey, if you guys want to find me on YouTube, you can find me here. You can find me here as well on Twitter. And of course at thegreensundina.com. But until then, I'll probably be back on Sunday. Kind of move back to normal streaming times of Thursday evenings, Saturday mornings. And then, yeah, get together something for the third Green Suns Summit. Which should be pretty cool. Just looking forward to that. But until then, that raid did not work. Slash? Have I forgotten how to raid? I have. Alright, well, hope you guys had a great time. I'll catch you next time. Enjoy your weeks ahead, and